You never make it. That's what they told me too.
If you didn't finish school.
One maths master wrote, you're on the road to failure if he carries on this way.
What's on the TV?
It's not the national
by after.
Before us, the opportunity to forge
Did you see the
for
news?
ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law,
What
not
time
the law
is
of the
Coronation
jungle,
Street on?
governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real
Rubbish.
chance at this
The
new world
government
order,
wouldn't do that.
an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Change the channel.
It's not the national
By after.
You're watching Afternoon Live on Sky News. We're going to bring you all the latest on the student protest going on this afternoon in the next hour. Protest going on in London.
Keep
These are
us
some of the
all
latest
safe.
scenes you're seeing there. We understand today that there have been 2 arrests so far. A little bit of a scuffle going on there, as you can see, on the streets of London. But so far, less trouble than there have been in the previous 2 student protests. What seems to be going on is what's been described as a game of cat.
It's not the national
By after.
This is typical. This is a BBC reporter who's reporting on 9/11 that Building 7 has fallen. It was in the shot behind her.
Did you really be late?
It fell 20 minutes later. And then when you point this out, people say, so you're saying the BBC's in on the conspiracy? No, mate. I'm saying they let the press release out 20 minutes sodding early. That's what.
It's not the national
By after.
This is before they built a village and put a road through it. This is the biggest stone circle in the world, I understand. Okay, we've got a member of the Skeptic Society over here. Sorry about that. And, oh yeah, there's a few Bush supporters as well over there. Look, there you go. There you go. Vote Bush. There you go. Everything the government tells you is true. You know. Oh, great. And what they use...
There's this saying, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. This reptilian group is the one-eyed man. And what they have sought to do, and they've done it brilliantly up to this point, is they want to make humans blind.
David Icke is crazy.
But there are other forces at work.
It's not the national
By after.
Brigadier Lathbury's just left, sir. Johnny Frost and the 2nd Battalion are already on the River Road.
Good. Thank you, Baker. Any news of Freddie Goff's Jeep squadron?
Well, it's unconfirmed.
Rather bad luck, sir, considering how few gliders we lost on the way in.
But it appears that a lot of the special jeeps failed to arrive, and those that did have been badly shot up in an ambush.
So no one's going to get to Arnhem Bridge except on foot. Splendid.
It must be from the lunatic asylum, sir. It's located on the far side of the wood. They escaped when it was bombed this morning.
Do you think they know something we don't?
Change the channel.
It's not the national
By after.
We are consciousness. That's what people are experiencing in near-death experiences when they leave the body and they suddenly have this amazingly expanded consciousness that they didn't have in the body. Because the body is like a lens, and it limits the range of awareness that we have access to, or it does at the moment anyway. And so when we get caught in body consciousness, when we get caught in the 5 senses and we filter everything through the 5 senses, it's like me sitting here on the internet with this computer, and the computer takes over where I go on the internet and what I think of where I go. In other words, the vehicle's taken over.
Oh, I love this song.
And when you start to open your mind,
Sheeple. 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 sheeple, sheeple, wrapped up in their hands, sheeple, 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 sheeple. Sheeple, 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 wrapped up in those hands, sheeple, 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 sheeple.
And most people are in that state because the system is specifically set up to put people in that state. They don't want people with expanded awareness. They want people with 5 sense awareness, which just sees the world that this network wants them to see.
Sheeple, 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 wrapped up in their hands.
It's like subliminal, a subliminal advertisement. You can look at a subliminal advertisement and you won't see it. And then when it's pointed out, next time and every time you look at that advertisement from then on, the first thing you see will be the subliminal you couldn't see before. Why? Because what has been locked in the subconscious and manipulating us through subliminal impact now becomes conscious and no longer has that ability
Change
to
the
manipulate
channel.
us. Now we can see it.
Yeah, Richard Thicker
It's not the national by after.
We're caught in a matrix where our minds aren't working anymore. We're just playing out robotic programs. And please illustrate what happened in that story. This is basic.
Well, it's
rules.
It's the rule book mind, where people have given up any connection to consciousness, and they've got the rule book and they've just inserted it into a slot, and that then filters all their sense of reality. I was out with Jamie. We're going down what you call in America the freeway, the motorway in England. Actually, not far from where Scott comes from, actually. And he's desperate for a wee, so there's no way to go on a motorway for miles, so we turn off into the back streets of a place called Eastleigh, right, and near Southampton, and eventually, after some time, and it's getting critical,
He's wiggling.
we turn into this, what you call gas station, and I start putting some petrol in the car, he goes in, and he comes back, like, holding everything up that will move, and he said they won't let me go to the toilet. So I thought, this is ridiculous. So I go in to the people, and there's 2 young girls there who, how can I put it,
they wouldn't win Brain of Britain. In fact, they would probably not win Brain of that gas station. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I said, look, my son wants to go to the toilet. He's desperate. We haven't got a toilet. I said, well, what do you do when you want to go? She said, we go to staff toilet. I said, so you've got a toilet then? Well, yeah. I said, the boy's desperate. Look at him. Well, it's against the rules. You can't go to the staff toilet. So I said, where's the bloody manager, right? And the manager, I call for the manager walks in, this woman, she was only a small woman, but somehow she kind of looked down on everybody, you know.
Including you, who's 6'3" or 4.
You know when this part of the nose it kind of points upwards, you know, because the nose is so much in the air, right? So I said, look, excuse me, I said, either I'm going crazy or someone here is, and you know, my boy wants to go to the toilet, right? He's desperate, look at him. And you've got a staff toilet. So, can he use it? You know, no, not allowed staff and go to the staff toilet in public. I said, why? Why couldn't you make an exception? Great line. She said, well, if we did it for one, we'd have to do it for everyone. How many people desperate for the toilet do you get in a week, and a month, or a year, you know? And then the funny thing was that other people in the queue, instead of seeing the nonsense of this, you know, as you would, look, lady, the kid's desperate for the toilet, and go, don't be silly. It was like, how long you going to be? And it's like, oh my God, and it kind of encapsulated to me just how a few can control the many.
Yes.
You've got a basic injustice here, quite clear. This person can't deal with the injustice because she's on page 25 of the rule book, you know, clause A3 triplicate, and the people in the queue are not bothered about the injustice. They just want to get to the till to pay. And that, you take that and you play it out across the mass of humanity, and that is the mentality that allows the few to control the many.
Exactly. That's why I wanted you to bring it up, because it's a very simple thing that every one of us goes through, probably on a daily basis to one degree or another. But it's no different than what you were talking about, the structure of the political system and the making of laws. We're buying it right down to whether or not we can wee somewhere when there's a toilet right around the corner.
This is what we've just been talking about, Regina, of course. Okay, you bring it back. Basic fairness, basic justice, basic integrity, basic fairness. Here is a boy, he's desperate for a wee. You have a toilet over there. I see a way out of this, right? It's so simple. But the rule book, no, the rule book says you can't do it. Well, what does your brain say? You know, what does your heart say?
What's your heart say?
What's your mind say?
Exactly. Well, this illustrates the point. But now I think now we can work around to the moon matrix. I want to talk to you about the moon. This is one of the areas that you really started going into recently in your newest newest presentation.
Right.
Richard Thicker.
It's not the national
By afternoon.
How's it going now?
Not too well, sir. We haven't been able to make contact with General Browning, 30 Corps, or England.
So no one knows we've arrived safely?
Not as far as we know, sir.
What about those VHF sets?
Oh, sir? It appears the sets have been delivered with the wrong crystals.
So they're quite useless?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid they are.
Are Brigadier Lethbury and Colonel Frost aware of what happened to the Special Jeep Squadron?
Not as far as we know, sir. At the moment, we're unable to contact any of the units moving into Arnhem.
Not a very satisfactory state of affairs, Steve.
No, sir.
We can't quite understand it, sir. It's perfectly good equipment.
And for God's sake, get it sorted out.
Yes, sir.
Before we have a bloody disaster on our hands.
Sir?
Hancock, I've got lunatics laughing at me from the woods. My original plan has been scuppered now that the jeeps haven't arrived. My communications have completely broken down. Do you really believe that any of that can be helped by a cup of tea?
Couldn't hurt, sir.
What's on the telly, love?
We've just got to not let fear get to us, because that's the control system's most potent weapon.
Change the channel.